Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees, Dandavat Pranam. Welcome to Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Today we are very happy to have the association of His Grace Smita Keshava Prabhuji. He'll be sharing Bhagavad Gita from 4th canto, chapter 27, verses 25 and 26. The chapter is titled Attack by Chandavega on the city of Puranjana and the character of Kalakanya. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Prabhuji, can you hear me? You are.
Hare Krishna, you're asking me or?
No, I'm asking Smita Keshava Prabhuji.
Okay, sure.
But anyway, thank you. Nice to hear from you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Prabhuji. Sorry, there is some power problem here.
No problem. If you want to adjust some things, you can do that.
Oh,
you want to adjust some things?
Thank you.
Yeah. So we'll get started.
Yeah, yes, Prabhuji. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you for your association. Please start, Prabhuji.
Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, devotees, Dandavat Pranam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrutyam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudiraye Nashtaprayesha Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttamasloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Hare Krishna, devotees, Dandavat Pranam. So, I'd like to take blessings from all the assembled devotees so that I would be able to speak whatever I could hear and repeat as it is. And please do correct me if any mistakes. So, I'll share my screen, Prabhuji.
Sure.
Are you able to see my screen, Prabhuji?
Yes, Prabhuji, I can see. We can see it, yes.
Okay. So we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 4th canto, 27th chapter, verses 25 and 26 today. So once again, I welcome all of you for today's Srimad Bhagavatam discussion. And we are reading the chapter is Attack by Chandavega on the city of King Puranjana, the character of Kalakanya. This is chapter name. And we'll recite the verse 4:27-25. So verse Dva imo anusochanti balav ashad avagraho yalloka shastropanatam narati natad icchati. Dva imo anusochanti balav asad avagraho yalloka shastropanatam narati natad icchati. Dva imo anusochanti balav asad avagraho yalloka shastropanatam narati natad icchati. What word meaning? Dvav, two kinds. Imau, these. Anusochanti, they lament. Balav, ignorant. Asat, the foolish. Avagraho, taking the path of. Yat, that which. Loka, by custom. Shastra, by scriptures. Upanatam, presented. Na, never. Rati, follows. Na, neither. Tat, that. Ichchati, desires. Translation purport by His Divine A.C. Bhaktivinoda Srila Prabhupada Ki. Translation. One who does not give charity according to the customs or injunctions of the scriptures, and one who does not accept charity in that way are considered to be in the mode of ignorance. Such persons follow the path of the foolish. Surely they must lament at the end. Purport. It is herein stated that one should strictly follow the scriptures if one actually wants an auspicious life. The same is explained in Bhagavata 16.23. Yashastra vidimus utsrujya vartate kamakarataha nasa siddhim avapnoti nasukam na paramgatim. He who discards scriptural injunctions and acts according to his own whims attains neither perfection nor happiness nor the supreme destination. One who does not strictly follow the terms of Vedic injunctions never attains success in life or happiness. And what to speak of going home back to Godhead. One Shastric injunction holds that a householder, a Kshatriya, or an administrative head should not refuse to accept a woman if she voluntarily requests to become a wife. Since Kalakanya, the daughter of time, was deputed by Narada Muni to offer herself to Yavanraj, the king of the Yavanas, could not refuse her. All transactions must be performed in the light of the Shastric injunctions. The Shastric injunctions are confirmed by great sages like Narada Muni. As stated by Narottam Das Thakur, Sadhu Shastra Guru Vakya Chittate Karya Aikya. One should follow the principles of saintly persons, scriptures, the spiritual master. In this way, one is sure to attain success in life. Kalakanya, the daughter of time, presented herself before the king of the Yavanas precisely in the terms of Sadhu, Shastra, and Guru. Thus, there was no reason for not accepting her. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Gnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Mena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Mena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunatanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Harita Shri Vishakamitamscha Namavam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarini Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gauratrise Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gauravakta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. Once again, welcome all of you for today's Srimad Bhagavatam discussion. And I would like to take blessings from all the assembled Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis. So please bless me so that I will to speak whatever I could hear and read in Parampara. So we're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 4th canto, 27th chapter, 25th verse. So this chapter is about Chandavega, attack by Chandavega and city of King Puranjana, and also the character of Kalakanya. So I just want to understand the context what we're discussing. So maybe for my understanding, I just mentioned few points from the starting so that we would understand the context where we are discussing and what is the topic, and so that then we'll proceed with the today verse. This brief discussion about what is happening. So we know that there are 10 topics in Srimad Bhagavatam explained in 2nd canto 10th chapter 1st verse. Atra sargo visargascha sthanam poshanam utaya manvantare shanukata nirodho muktir ashtrayaha. So atra sarga visargascha. So sarga, that is universal creation by the Supreme Lord, the initial creation done by the Lord, like Mahavishnu, Garbhadaksha Vishnu, and Siradaksha Vishnu, and all the universes. So that is the initial creation. And then secondary creation, every Brahmanda will have, Brahma will start secondary creation by creating the different species. So and then the secondary creation, what we are discussing currently, that is Visarga. So that's what we're discussing now. The second topic of Bhagavatam, that's the 4th canto. So in the 4th canto, from 3rd canto's 21st chapter, there are till 5th canto, there is a description of the secondary creation of Brahma, that is son of Brahma, Swayambhu Manu's dynasty. So Swayambhu Manu, he has 3 daughters and 2 sons. So we can see here 3 daughters are Swayambhu Manu, Devahuti, Akuti, and Prasuti. So Devahuti married to Kardamuni, Akuti married to Prajapati Ruchi, Prasuti married to Daksha, and they have the children like Devahuti and Kardamuni have Kapila Muni and 9 daughters, explained in 3rd canto. And then Akuti, Prajapati Ruchi, they also have Lord as their son as Yagna. And then Prasuti and Daksha also, we know Sati is their daughter and married to Lord Shiva. So those are the portions are explained in 4th canto. And then 2 sons, Uttanapad and Priyavrat. So Uttanapad was explained, he has Dhruva and Dhruva and Uttama. And then from Dhruva, Anga, Vena, and then Pruthumaraj, and then further it goes so many lineages, and then Prachina Barshit, and then Prachetas. So currently we're discussing the topic of Barishit is Prachina Barshit, and we're discussing the topic on this where Narada Muni is talking to Prachina Barshit, and then he's explaining the allegorical story of King Puranjana, that is about the life of a conditioned soul. And then there are further topics about next continuation about another son of when the lineage of Dhruva Maharaj goes till Prachetas, went for Prachetas have only one son, that is Daksha, who again take birth. Previous Daksha again takes birth as Daksha, and then there actually as Daksha went for austerities again, and there was no one to rule. So again they went back to Priyavrat Maharaj to start ruling. So that continues in the further chapters. But we are discussing on the Swayambhu Maharaj dynasty where Uttanapad dynasty where Dhruva Maharaj in the lineage Prachina Barshit comes. So we are currently discussing there. So this for my understanding, sorry if I am repeating things. So for me to make it clear where we are discussing. So as I mentioned already, we are discussing that Prachina Barshit comes in the great lineage of Dhruva Maharaj, and he has Prachetas as their sons, and we know Prachetas are 10 in number, and they heard Rudra Gita from Lord Shiva. So they want to perform austerities. So they before entering into Grihastha Ashrama or ruling the kingdom, so they want to do all the austerities performed by devoting to Lord Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Lord Shiva came and he helped them, giving them the Rudra Gita, and they practiced it very nicely under the water. And while they are practicing, what happens during that period of time of so many years, Prachina Barshit is the father of Prachetas. So he actually sent them, and what Prachina Barshit was doing is actually he was conducting karmakandic rituals, which are fruitive sacrifices. So he was doing these sacrifices where many animals are getting killed in these sacrifices, and he was so much addicted that after completing one sacrifice, maybe sitting, the sacrifice about to complete, so immediately the next sacrifice was started, and he jumps from here to there, and back to back, back to back calls like that. He is having back to back karmakandic rituals and sacrifices, killing so many animals. So that time Narada Muni felt very compassionate, and Narada Muni approached Prachina Barshit, and he asked him what is the purpose of doing all these sacrifices. So and he was explaining, there is no use of these sacrifices. King is supposed to do sacrifice, but that sacrifice are meant for well-being of all the society and other things. Not that he is addicted to the sacrifices, that he is doing only sacrifice, but not understanding the importance of self-realization. That is about devotional service. So, and also he showed him with his mystic that vision of all the animals, where all the animals were waiting for Prachina Barshit's death, and they are ready to pierce him with their horns, iron horns. So he shows that mystic vision to Prachina Barshit, and also explained that he was not very proud, he was very humble, very simple. So he was ready to accept Narada Muni's instruction. So Narada Muni instructed him. So he explaining that as was explaining that absorbing in karmakandic rituals is not correct, because we should engage ourselves in Lord's devotional service. That is the highest. So then he started explaining him with the allegorical story of King Puranjana. So the King Puranjana story is the story of ourselves, story of explaining about Prachina Barshit himself. So it's like explaining the story in allegorical way. So there are explaining so many analogies. So he explains that how conditions will getting entangled in the material world because of material intelligence. That's the whole story about. Then Puranjana, so King explains the story of Puranjana. Narada Muni is explaining to Prachina Barshit. So Pura means city, Jana means citizen. So one who resides in the city. And what is the city? The city is of 9 gates. So having 9 Navarandra, we call 9 holes, like 2 eyes, 2 nose, mouth, ears, anus, and genitals. So it's like 9 gates. That's nothing but human body where he resides. And the body, there is one more friend of the Puranjana, that is the conditioned soul, that is Avignata, that is super soul, who resides in the body. And then he further gives a lot of analogies explaining about how the whole city is explaining made up of 9 gates, and what are the walls is like skin, and parks are like hair, like so many other analogies are explained. And in that beautiful city, he found one woman, that is Puranjani, that is a queen, and she is representing the material intelligence of conditioned soul. And she arrived on her own, and she is having 10 servants, Puranjani, and hundreds of wives. So 10 servants are nothing but Karmendrias and Gyanendrias. So that are the 10 senses. And then all these hundreds of wives are the sensual desires of the conditioned soul. There are so many desires of conditioned soul. And there is no idea of this origin. Like all of us, we also have this conditioned soul. We are all conditioned souls. Like we all have a lot of desires from so many, we cannot trace back from how many lifetimes we have got stuck in this material world. So the tracing of the origin is very difficult. That's why when Puranjani asked by Puranjana that who are you and who are those people, she told no idea. I just there like that. So a lot of desires are there. And then there is a 500 serpent, that is a Pranavayu, compared to Pranavayu, that's a serpent protecting that city. So both attracted to each other, and there was discussion between both of them. And finally, King Puranjana wants to marry Puranjani, so they got married. So and then further, Puranjana marries, and then he wastes a lot of time doing sense gratification. So instead of asking the important questions of who am I and why am I suffering, so because he asked so many questions to Puranjani about so many things. Who are you? Where are you come from? You are so beautiful. So many things he asked. Are you Lakshmi? Or so many things. But actually, soul should ask not for inquiring how can I do material sense gratification in different ways. Soul supposed to ask. We supposed to ask like, who am I? Why am I suffering this material world? So what is my connection with the Lord? So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explains this to Sanatana Goswami. Sanatana Goswami asks also these questions to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So very important those questions. And then further, Puranjana goes for hunting. So he's like conditioned soul goes for in search of sense gratification, sense objects. So he goes for hunting and mercilessly kills so many animals in hunting. So it's like comparison of both, like understanding that this allegorical Nardamani is explaining to Prachin Parshit such a way that understands how conditioned soul gets stuck in this material world in sense gratification. So he mercilessly kills all the animals. So by the time he comes back, Puranjani was lamenting in separation, and she was not happy. And then Puranjana, he satisfies her, and they further enjoys. So till there is a fourth canto 26th chapter. So now we're at the fourth canto 27th chapter. It discusses these 4 sections. So first section is about Puranjana enjoys with the queen. As I told, she was lamenting, and Puranjana comes and sees queen in that way, and he solaces her, and they attract each other, and they do sense gratification. And further, Puranjana's family and his old age, like there are so many children and the grandchildren. So there are 1,100 sons and 110 daughters whom we get married, and then they beget so many grandchildren. So and then finally Puranjana gets attacked with old age, Jara. So and then 13 to 18 verses indicates Chandavega Gandharva, who attacks the city of King Puranjana. So city means just think about the body, a body of 10 gates, and it gets attacked with Chandavega. That is the time. Time attacks the body, then we become old. So time is attacking the body. And then further, last section explains also about the story of Kalakanya. Parallel with the other story, Kalakanya story is also explained. So today what we are discussing is about Kalakanya, speaking these 2 verses. 4th canto 27, 25 and 26 are the 2 verses spoken by Kalakanya. So Kalakanya is talking these verses to Yavana king, who is fear personification. Fear is a fear. So and then so chapter title is Chandavega. The Chandavega is nothing but Chandavega is like a time force which is very swift. So it is like time passes. So time and tide wait for none. So it passes. So and Chandavega has so many soldiers. They are the days and nights. So 360 days and 360 nights. It was explained that they attack the city of King Puranjana, and Pranavayu starts fighting. So with those Gandharva soldiers, and it's becoming weak, kind of becoming weak. So because the body is getting old as time passes. So and then the explanation of today's verses that comes here, where the Chandavega's daughter is the time whose daughter is Kalakanya, nothing but Jara, that is old age. This is time gradual process to become old, and that is also personification. That is Kalakanya, is Jara. The daughter of Chandavega is most unfortunate because nobody wants old age. So everybody is rejecting Kalakanya. We don't want you. We don't want you. So she's looking for husband everywhere. And Kalakanya met Narada Muni, and Narada Muni asked him. He's a brahmachari, right? He asked him, "Can you marry me?" So Narada Muni tells that no, he will not marry because he's Naistic brahmachari and he don't want to marry. And then she curses Narada Muni that you will not stay in one place, you'll keep roaming. So that's a new blessing for Narada Muni. And he is is Satchidananda. He's spiritual and he travels everywhere, all the worlds, and he will keep preaching. So he wants to stay at a place where he wants to preach. So Narada Muni, that's a blessing for Narada Muni also. So that was explained. And although Kalakanya curses Narada Muni was compassionate. So he told Kalakanya, you can go and approach Yavana king, that is Bhaya, fear. So that's the context now, where Kalakanya is approaching Yavana king, who is Bhaya, fear. So that's the topic now. So Kalakanya is the daughter of Chandavega. Chandavega is the time, and time's daughter is Jara, that is Kalakanya. And she was told by Narada Muni to go and approach Yavana king. So that is the verse. So sorry for taking a bit more time, but just this for my understanding also, I just want to recollect this. So we are now discussing Kalakanya is talking to Yavana king Bhaya. So this here explains that Dvav Imau Anusochanti. So Anusochanti. So Sochanti means lament. So who will lament? Who will lament is people who doesn't do two things. So Dvav Imau. So the two things is that one who does not give charity according to customs, or one who does not accept charity in that way, are considered to be in mode of ignorance. So she tells that because such persons, they don't follow scriptures and they are foolish, so they will lament at the end. So because scriptures tells about charity, and that charity has to be accepted and charity has to be given, and who doesn't follow it as per scriptures, they will definitely lament at the end. So that's the main topic. Why she's telling about charity? Because she herself came and to give herself to Yavana king, his fear personification, and he's asking him to accept. So that's why he's telling this point, explaining this point. And Prabhupada nicely explains the purport. So I made some points from the purport only. So where Prabhupada starting explains the purport with actually three themes. He explains the purport. The first theme explains about how human form of life is very rare, very, very rare, and we have to utilize it for following scriptures, by following dharma as per given the scriptures. And also one more important Prabhupada stresses in the purport is about Guru, Sadhu and Shastra. And then the last point explains about giving charity and accepting charity, as Kalakanya is already speaking about it. So we'll go one by one. Like first point, Prabhupada explains from the purport about Bhagavata 16th chapter 23rd verse. That I just took the points from the purport, so that whatever we just want to discuss related to this. So first thing explains about the verse in Bhagavata 16.23. Yash Shastra Vidim Utsrujya Vartate Kama Karataha Na Siddhim Avapnoti Na Sukam Na Paramgatim. So he's saying Na Siddhim will not get the perfection, Siddhim. Na Sukam, no happiness. Na Paramgatim, no supreme destination also. For whom Utsrujya, who has given up Shastra Vidim. What is given in the Shastras? So Vartate Kama Karataha. So who follows Kama Karataha means who follows or acts according to the lust, and who does act according to the lust. For them who doesn't follow scriptures, who given up, for them there is no happiness, there is no perfection, and what would speak about the supreme destination? Nothing is possible. So Prabhupada explains that. So in the purport, Prabhupada writes that people who are of he explains like kind of three categories. Like one is lowest of mankind, that who theoretically accepts things, but it does not apply it in the own life. So I just mentioned one point, but there are many things. So theoretically we accept, yes, it's good to do this activity, Yes, they are in scriptures also to get a prize early in the morning. So for do Mangalarati, so do duty worship. We accept theoretical, but we don't want to apply in our life. So I'm just talking about myself. So we should apply all these activities in our life so that we advance in our devotional service. So all these points like chanting early in the Brahma Muhurta, it's so potent. So chanting early. So if you don't chant early, then we know how it drags whole day. So so like that, many things we accept theoretically, but we don't apply it in our own life. So I'm just connecting and then explains about following rules and regulations as per the scriptures. So people follow rules and regulations, they follow it so nicely, but they doesn't come to the stage of understanding Supreme Lord. So then all those knowledge is like kind of spoiled only. So we know many people follow Ekadasi. So why? What is the purpose of following Ekadasi? So we don't know why you are following Ekadasi. We fast. So we do so many activities, but ultimately, what's the essence that we remember the Lord? We lot of hearing and reading, understanding, understanding more and more about the Lord. So and one more point is people have follow rules and regulations like doing deity worship or encourage, but are they convinced? Are they have faith that he is a supreme Lord? If not, then they again do so many other pujas also. Like parallelly, they will do Lakshmi puja or whatever. They worship so many other demigods also. They don't have faith. So that they keep doing the rituals again and again without having that faith that Supreme Personality Godhead is Krishna. So that is also the whole knowledge is waste. We should have proper understanding of who is Supreme Personality of Godhead. So and then doing the rules and regulations to ensure that with the consciousness that we please the Lord. So that is second point. And then further explains about, so even if accepts the existence of God, but we don't engage in the service of the Lord. So like I was relating that we may do a lot of sadhana, we read, we hear a lot. So we want to do sadhana, but we don't want to, when anything asks, can you do this service? Then we tell, no, I am busy. So I have to do my sadhana. So purpose of doing sadhana is to render service. Purpose of doing chanting is to render service. So we should render service even like we should do our sadhana in such a way that that sadhana will help us to do our service with the right attitude. So we should render service also. So then only we'll engage our whole body, mind, and words in Lord's service. So otherwise, what happens is our attempts are again spoiled if you don't engage in our service. By doing service, we'll get more taste in our sadhana also. That's one more point. And Prabhupada explains the purport that one should, all these three things, I was connecting to our examples, but all these three things, like one should gradually raise himself to the platform of Krishna consciousness and devotional service. So we may gradually raise ourselves to this platform. So it's not that in one instant it will happen. We should associate with the devotees who are doing that, and slowly we should rise to the platform of that this understanding of the Supreme Lord, engaging in devotional service, following rules and regulations very sincerely. So with that understanding of the Lord. So that's one point. And then these are the three things. And then there was one more word in that verse where Prabhupada explains that very, very significant. That is kama karataha. So we knowingly violates the rules. So which acting in lust. So that is Prabhupada terms the word whimsically. So acting whimsically means we knowingly violates the rule. So there are many examples like, so we knowingly violates like example of offering obeisances. So we have to offer obeisances when we see Vaishnavas, when we see, always we offer obeisances. When we enter temple hall, we have to offer obeisances. Sometimes we knowingly violate it. So it's okay, we already did once. So like that, there are many instances like we should honor prasadam only. So we knowingly violates it. And there are many other details like we can observe in our life that we knowingly violate so many rules what we're supposed to do. So as we know, this Damodar Mass is happening. There are certain rules and regulations which we should follow, but we knowingly violates it. So that is called acting whimsically. We know it, but we don't want to do it. So actually, what happens is the human form of life is very, very rare. There was explained that we went through this 84 lakh species of life. So by knowingly violating all these things is explained in the purport that our devotional service is lackened. So we'll not get the taste in devotional service. It is taken away. So that's very important. So if we don't practice it, then the taste in devotional service is gone. So then if it is gone, then again we interrupt into so many other activities of sense gratification, where the human form of life is again spoiled. So the human form of life is meant for purifying our own existence. So if you don't follow rules and regulations, then we cannot purify ourselves. So again, we get into the circle of 84 lakh species of life and go like that. So then it will be very difficult, because in human form of life only we can understand Supreme Lord and we can go back to Godhead. So if you waste it by acting whimsically, then it's very difficult. So that's one theme where Prabhupada explains in the purport that we should carefully understand that human form of life is very, very rare, and in that also we got devotional service, which is very, very rare, as explained by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to Rupa Goswami about how devotee itself is very rare, very rare. There are so many species in that human form species are 4 lakh, and then again there are demigods, Yavanas, there are other kinnaras, but in that again human form of people who follow scriptures, who doesn't follow scriptures, and people who follow scriptures with faith, people who doesn't follow scriptures just for namesake, like that. And then again explains further how the person becoming devotee itself is very rare. So pleasing the Supreme Lord, following scriptures by pleasing the Lord is very rare. So there is very nice explanation there. So we understand that rare what we got. So we should very carefully, we should not act whimsically. We should follow the best whatever we can do it. So to please the Lord. So that's one thing. And second theme is about Guru, Sadhu and Shastra. So this is 3 triangle we call. We should always check in our devotional life, spiritual life. These 3 things will always talk about the same point. So Guru, Sadhu and Shastra. So following Guru, Sadhu and Shastra is always lead us to auspicious life. So now and also will help us to go back to Godhead. So this point I was hearing one lecture where Prabhupada is explaining that if people take only Guru, then what will happen? There are many spiritual societies, was Prabhupada is explaining, that they talk that only Guru, my Guru is great. Whatever he talks, that is ultimate. There is no quoting from scriptures. There is no relation with scriptures. Prabhupada explains that these kind of people, they will surely lament at the end. So that is one kind of what to say, extreme, that only Guru, there is no Shastra, there is no Sadhu. So then further explains only Shastra. So like I was hearing that how Christians, they accept only Bible. So there is no other, there is no Guru, there is no Guru who initiates or who, there is no Guru who tells them what they're supposed to do. There is no Siksha there. So they just accept one scripture and there is no authority to surrender and practice. So that is one thing lacking there. There is only Shastra. And this is the second aspect. And the third aspect is about having Guru, having Shastra, but there is no Sadhu. There is no Siksha given by Sadhus. So that is example I was hearing that Tapan Mishra and Chaitanya Charitamrita. So where I just want to explain that, we'll just understand the past time. I'll just give the brief. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he during his youth time, when he was Nimai Pandit and he was expert in Sanskrit scholar, he went to East Bengal to establish there about his teaching, about his Sanskrit, and also establish the Nam Sankirtan there through here Tapan Mishra. And he went to East Bengal, and that time, during that time, he met one Brahmana, this is Tapan Mishra. So what happened is Tapan Mishra, I heard that he already had a guru, and he already got the Vaishnava Diksha Mantra. So he was reading scriptures, so many. So, but he was not sure about what is the perfect goal, what is the sadhya, what is that object of life which I should attain. So, and what I supposed to do for it. So he was not very clear. So that time, one Brahmana appeared in his dream and told to Tapan Mishra that you supposed to go and meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He is Nimai Pandit. He is Supreme Personality of Godhead, and he will definitely guide you what you're supposed to do. So such an amazing dream we got. And then finally, immediately he understood and he approached Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He explained about the dream, what he got. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was very happy, was very satisfied. And then he further explains these verses in Chaitanya Charitamrita Adilila, where Bahu Shastre Bahu Vakya Chitte Brahmahaya Satya Sadhana Shrestha Nahaya Nishaya. So if one becomes a bookworm, reading many books and scriptures and hearing many commentaries and the instructions of many men, this will produce doubt within his heart. One cannot in this way ascertain the real goal of life. So this is what Bahu Shastra Bahu Vakya, reading so many scriptures, hearing so many things. So chitte brahma haya. So it will not, it creates doubt in the heart. So definitely you will not be very clear on what is sadhya and sadhana. So that is what was explained, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to Tapan Mishra. So innocent persons, they mislead in this way actually by hearing so many. Even if we, Prabhupada tells that we should stick to what is there in parampara and we should read accordingly. By hearing so many things or reading so many things will deprive us from our unallied Krishna Bhakti. So we'll not get that pure devotional service. So if we want to hear so many things, to read so many things from so many other places, so it'll be like we'll mislead in so many things, because that may lead to the mentality of fruitive activities again. That may lead it. That was explained in the purport of Prabhupada. So, so we should be very careful in this activity. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explains the same thing to Tapan Mishra and further explains what is the essence and what we're supposed to do in Kali Yuga. He tells that Prabhu Tustahana Sadhya Sadhana Kahila Nama Sankirtana Kara Upadesha Kaila. So he tells that Tusta, he was satisfied. Sadhya Sadhana Kaila. He was explaining what is that essence, what is he supposed to do. So what is the object, what is the process. He tells that Lord being satisfied instructed him about the object of life and the process for attaining it. They instructed him that the basic principle of success is to chant the holy name of the Lord, Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu establishes that very nicely, that the ultimate process for attaining the object of life is chanting the holy name, that is Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, Nama Sankirtana Kara. So this was during Chaitanya Mahaprabhu when he is Nimai Pandit, he was explaining all these things to Tapan Mishra, and then he tells Tapan Mishra that to fix your mind on chanting this Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu telling Tapan Mishra to fix on chanting. That is the essence of everything. Yeah. The same instruction he also got from his spiritual master Ishwar Puri, that you need not read all Vedanta Sutra and everything. You chant the holy names of Lord. So and chant and dance. So like that he was instructed. Ishwar Puri instructed Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu knows everything, because when Tapan Mishra asked, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave him the essence what was supposed to do in Kali Yuga, and that is the main process. And he tells that Tapan Mishra wants to stay with him there, and he wants to further give up his family life and want to continue with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He told, no, you can go and stay in Varanasi. So because now nothing has happened till now. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu further later will take sannyas and he'll comes to Varanasi, and then he'll instruct Rupa Goswami, he'll instruct Sanatana Goswami there. That time even Tapan Mishra will be there, and then both will hear from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So he knows everything. So he explains him that so nicely that you can go and stay in Varanasi. Later Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will go there. So that was the past time. The essence is that person having a guru already and have reading so many scriptures, but there is no siksha given by sadhus, then it again difficult. So these three things are required again. So this was, he got siksha from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu now, because he was guided. Otherwise he'll get misled in so many ways. So then he told him that essence of this is chanting the holy names of Lord. So we all know how Srila Prabhupada has given us everything. So we have Diksha Guru, we have Siksha Gurus. So we have a lot of association, a lot of Shastra, Prabhupada books are there. So there are a lot of Prabhupada books. Prabhupada spent his whole energy in, without sleeping, writing the scriptures for all of us to read and distribute. So he gave all the three so nicely in ISKCON. So we should be very grateful to Prabhupada and follow what is given in the scriptures. So that's one point. This is the second theme, like discussing about Guru, Sadhu and Shastra. And the last is about charity. So it is spoken here about charity, because as I mentioned, Kalakanya was asking that you should not reject me because charity is supposed to be given to Kshatriya. It was as a charity given to you. So as charity, you're supposed to accept. So you should not reject it. So as per the scriptures, should do it. So I was just recollecting the verses from Bhagavata where it explains about charity in mode of goodness, mode of passion, and mode of ignorance. So charity given out of duty without expectation of return at proper time, Desha Kala Patra, a proper time place to worthy person is considered to be in mode of goodness. So that is supposed to give mode of goodness charity. So and then in the purport, the main point I was reading that in the Vedic literature, charity given to a person engaged in spiritual activities is recommended. So we're supposed to give charity to person engaged in spiritual activities. So that was explained. So we all know this charity, what we're supposed to give. And then charity mode of passion. So that is about perform with expectation of return and with some return, and desire for fruitful results in a grudging mood, like someone has told you to do, then you do it. That is also in mode of passion. And mode of ignorance, charity means charity performed at impure place, improper time, and to unworthy persons without proper attention and respect is said to be in mode of ignorance. So this is like engaging, giving charity to a person which leads to intoxication or gambling, to other activities, which is again mode of ignorance. Just an example. So ultimately, as all of us, we all know, as Grostas, we're supposed to give charity. That is the main principle. So we should be very charitable. Like we know, Rupa Goswami explained about 50% of his income is supposed to give as a charity. 20% for family usage, and 20% for urgent emergencies. So that was a ideal set by Rupa Goswami. So like we also discussed about how we should give charity so that it will purify our own existence, purify our wealth. We should supposed to give charity. And while giving charity, what should be consciousness that everything belongs to Lord. It's not that it's ours. Lakshmi is Lord's, goddess of fortune, and just at the time being, it's there. You're supposed to give that charity willfully in the Lord's service. So we should not be proud about our charity also. So that's one point I just want to make here. So those are the three themes. I think just want to conclude. First thing we discussed about understanding how human form of life is very, very rare, and we're supposed to follow dharma that is given in the scriptures, and follow the dharma also. We have certain principles already given by acharyas. We should follow very sincerely, honestly, whatever best we can do it, so that we can advance in spiritual life. Otherwise, it will be we cannot advance very nicely. And second point also, we discussed about following Guru Sadhu and Shastra. Like if you miss any one of these things, it will be again difficult for us to advance. Like we'll miss it in so many ways. So how it's very important. We have seen the Pasam of Tapan Mishra, how he was also read so many things, but still there is some kind of deviations. Very difficult to understand the real object. Everything we got now very easily by Prabhupada, given us the chanting essence, and then other further things of Guru, following association of devotees to guide us nicely in our devotional life. And then giving charity and accepting charity. So I just mentioned about we should supposed to give charity for spiritual progress. So we should not we should give. So always preferable to be in mode of goodness charity, not of mode of passion or mode of ignorance. And we should follow the charity because that purifies our existence and our wealth. And we should not be proud of charity, and we should also have an understanding that everything belongs to Lord. So that is one point. And further, this verse talks finally about charity. I was just want to explain that why here charity was mentioned. That she was explaining, Kalakanya explaining to Yavana king, as told by Narada Muni, that a Kshatriya householder or administrative head should not refuse to accept a woman if they come. So voluntarily coming there. So you voluntarily coming to Yavana and asking, please marry me. That's the point he was explaining. So that's why she was putting forward this statement. And then as per Shastric injection. And then she tells very clearly that as per the Sadhu Shastra and Guru, Sadhu Shastra and Guru Shastra is telling, Narada Muni already explained to her that you can approach him. So then she approached him and she explained him. I was just reading when Krishna also protected all the queens kidnapped by Bhaumasura. They all told him that you are the only shelter because Bhaumasura kidnapped them, and Krishna helped them to by killing Bhaumasura. So they want to marry Krishna. So Krishna accepted everyone, 50,000 wives. So they're recollecting that past time. So like that, Kalakanya is now expecting him to accept who? Yavana king. So that's the point. And now we'll go to the next verse. That is 4:27-26. Ato bhajasva mam badra bhajanti me dayam kuru etavan porusho dharmo yadartan anukampate. So it is said here, Ato bhajasva mam badra. So bhajasva. So we'll just go to translation. So translation, Kalakanya continued, O gentle one, I am now present before you to serve you. Please accept me and thus show me mercy. It is a gentleman's greatest duty to be compassionate upon a person who is distressed. So he is speaking. Kalakanya is continuing. So Bhadra. So there are two words about gentleman here again. Bhadra is also a gentle one, and Paurusha is also a gentleman. He's calling the Yavana king as gentleman, that I am present before you to serve. So Bhajaswa, please accept me. So I am ready to serve. Please show me mercy. Daya Anukampate. She tells 2 times. So please be compassionate and be merciful to me, so that please accept me. Accept me. So because it's a debtor's duty for a compassionate person on a distressed person, so you should accept them. So she was asking this to Yavana king, like that she was asking. So we'll read the purport. Yavana Raja, the king of the Yavanas, could also refuse to accept Kalakanya, the daughter of time, but he considered the request due to the order of Nardamuni. Thus, he accepted Kalakanya in a different way. In other words, the injunctions of Nardamuni or the path of devotion service can be accepted by anyone within the 3 worlds, and certainly by the king of the Yavanas. Lord Chaitanya himself requested everyone to preach the cult of Bhakti Yoga all over the world, in every village and town. Preachers in the Krishna consciousness movement have actually experienced that even the Yavanas and Mlechas have taken to spiritual life on the strength of Nardamuni's Prancharatrika Vidhi. When mankind follows the disciplic succession, as recommended to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, everyone throughout the world will benefit. So, the Kalkana is continuing this, asking for mercy, showing compassionate on her, and to accepting. Kalkana is Jara, she is old age. So, she is requesting fear, this Yavana king, Bhaya, to accept. So, there few points like in this verse explained about Nardamuni has told Kalakanya to approach Yavanraj. So we can understand how, although Kalakanya cursed him, that as I was discussing initially, she cursed him that you will not stay at one place, you will keep roaming here and there. So although she cursed him, Nardamuni took it, Nardamuni didn't take it wrong. So that's anyway his blessing for him, because he keeps going and preaching everywhere. So he took in the right way, and he also helped her. He helped her. In the purport explains that Nardamuni has given shelter by telling her that you can go and approach Yavana king, that is Bhaya. So he will give you shelter. So he tells the right, Nardamuni tells her the right way to approach him, and he goes and approaches him. So how he is very compassionate. So Prabhupada explains in previous purports how he is very compassionate. So Vaishnavas are like that. They're very compassionate. So even in our life also, we have seen that how they're very compassionate, although we are not qualified in performing, entering in devotional service. They are very compassionate. They pull us in bhakti. They'll make us engage in devotional service. So that's why somehow we are sustaining in devotional service. So similar way, now Damodar Masam is going on. I was just contemplating how compassionate when Nardamuni again and Nalakuver and Manikriva, although they didn't show any respect, Nardamuni was passing. They were nude and they were drunkard state. They didn't even show respect to Nardamuni. But Nardamuni was compassionate, although he cursed them that you have to become trees, but they have got a boon that they can see Lord face to face at the end, and at the end of the pastime. And also they saw so many pastimes happening there in the Vrindavan. So that's amazing boon of getting a association with devotees. So they're very compassionate. So that's one point. And then Yavanraj may not accept Kalakanya, because no one wants Kalakanya, because she's old age. Will become old. So nobody wants to become old. But Nardamuni told, that's why Yavanraj is also accepting. It's mentioned that in the 3 worlds, who will not accept Nardamuni's instruction? So Nardamuni's instruction has to be accepted. The Yavanraj also accepted the instructions of Nardamuni, and he accepted Kalakanya in a different way. The further explains in further chapters how he was accepted Kalakanya. And then in the purport, Prabhupada mentions that how there was a point about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's instructions. He tells that, so Chaitanya Mahaprabhu instructed everyone to preach the cult of Bhakti Yoga all over the world, every village and town. So preachers in Krishna consciousness have experienced the Yavanas and Mlechas, have taken to spiritual life on the strength of Nardamuni's Pancharatrika Vidhi. So this point I was reading, that how even the Yavanas and Mlechas, they take up devotional service very seriously and they'll practice. So in the previous purport, I think it was Prabhupada explained, Yavanas and Mlechas, not the people who are in different countries. Yavanas and Mlechas are people who doesn't get up early in the morning, who doesn't do Mangalarti, who doesn't practice devotional services, rules and regulations given in scriptures. They are all Yavanas and Mlechas only. So if we are not practicing, then we are all Yavanas and Mlechas only. So, and people who doesn't follow all these rules and regulations, those people also will take up by having preaching as per the parampara. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explains that if you follow in parampara and you preach as per Narada Muni's Pancharatrika Vidhi, then definitely they'll take up, and many have experienced it. So Prabhupada did it. Prabhupada shown how VPs have taken up so nicely, and they're practicing, and they transformed their life, becoming great sadhus. So there are many also we have seen, and in our life we are also have seen, like we are also addicted to so much of eating meat and other stuff. We have given up. So we can see the power of preaching, and we're able to follow it. So there are so many other examples, like people are practicing, and many people are taken up Krishna consciousness. So by just following the instructions on the strength of Narada Muni's Pancharatrika Vidhi. So preaching is the essence. Prabhupada tells the preaching essence. We should preach for our own purification, not for showing off. So we should preach for our safety, because if we preach, what will happen is we'll get safeguarded. So we'll read scriptures, we'll hear scriptures, we'll speak what is there, and we'll think that as I'm not following, I'm supposed to follow what I'm speaking. So at least we'll be safeguarded. It's very important to at least preach in our whatever way we can. So that's one point. And we should speak as per the parampara. That is Narada Muni's Pancharatrika Vidhi. I was reading the previous purports. What is explained is Bhagavata in Pancharatrika Vidhi. Like Pancharatrika Vidhi was mentioned there. It includes Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, and Sakyam, Atma Nivedanam. Because the devotee rigidly follows the instructions of Narada Muni, he has no fear. So these are the things in Pancharatrika Vidhi, like Archanam, so Vandanam, so deity worship, offering obeisances, so serving the Lord. So like all these things are explained in Pancharatrika Vidhi. And what is Bhagavata Vidhi? That includes preaching work. Prabhupada mentions that we should do hearing, reading, and then chanting, preaching. So hearing, that means glories of the Lord. So we should do all these things in Bhagavata Vidhi. So this is about Bhagavata Vidhi in Pancharatrika Vidhi. By doing this as per the instructions given, then definitely there will be transformation, and people will get transformed, and they'll practice devotional life. Even the Yavanas and Nachas also, they'll get transformed. And then then we all know how Narada Muni instructed many, not only Prachina Parishit now, this allegorical story of Puranjana, where he's talking about this. He gave same allegorical story to, again, similar allegorical story to Hareshwas, I think son of Daksha, later it comes. And then also Narada Muni instructed Dhruva Maharaj, Mrugani, Priyavrat Maharaj, Prahlad, all these past times we have seen in Bhagavatam, how Narada Muni is very compassionate. So he goes to them. Actually, Dhruva Maharaj didn't ask Narada Muni to come in his life. So by Lord's willing, Narada Muni went there. Narada Muni shown the way to Dhruva Maharaj. And Narada Muni has shown the same way to Mrugari, what he's supposed to do in his life. And Narada Muni instructed Priyavrat Maharaj. Narada Muni helped Prahlad when he was in the womb only. So he was so compassionate. So Narada Muni keep traveling and make pure devotees everywhere. So then I was hearing one lecture where who is Narada Muni in our life? So Narada Muni is Srila Prabhupada. So he was very compassionate for all of us. So he has come all the way. So from spiritual world, ambassador of spiritual world, to take us all back home, back to Godhead. So he given us everything. So chanting holy names, ISKCON. So all the devotees association in ISKCON. So all the books what we have. So very wonderful. But only thing is we have to be very sincere in practicing, and we should follow our Srila Prabhupada instructions and following the seniors very sincerely. Then definitely we'll be able to achieve success in this life. So that is one point. And then finally, want to conclude with this one point. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explains that just mankind, whole mankind, just following the disciplic succession as recommended by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, everyone throughout the world will benefit. So Prabhupada mentioned in the purport that just following instructions. So Janma Sathya Kori Kara Paropakar. We should follow and we should preach. By doing that, definitely whole world will be happy and get benefited. So these are the few points I could collect from this verse. Like just to bit recap, on 26th verse we discussed how Kalakanya was approaching Yavana king and asking that you are a gentleman, please show mercy on me, be compassionate. So because she was coming with the words of Narada Muni, and Yavana king has to accept the words of Narada Muni. So Narada Muni, we all know how he is very compassionate, and he has given instructed her to meet him. So in that way, he has shown compassion to many souls, many people got benefited. So and Narada Muni keeps preaching. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu should preach, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu instruction is to preach, and we should preach and should have holy name all over the world, every town and every village. So preaching has to be done in our own way, and that preaching should be in the parampara, which is Narada Pancharatrika Vidhi explained there, coming from Narada, all the disciplic succession of tell Prabhupada. Prabhupada is our Nardamuni who has brought everything for us, very compassionate. So, and following instructions of Prabhupada and senior Vaishnavas, we should be able to follow their instructions and be able to preach in their guidance. So that will really help us also. It will help us also because we preach, we read, and we hear, and we'll try to follow what we are speaking, and also it will help the whole world. We will get benefited by this. So, with that, I'd like to conclude these two verses, 25 and 26 in 4th canto 27th chapter. So, I'd like to stop here. Hare Krishna. Prabhupada ki jai. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Please forgive me if any mistakes or if I spoke a bit fastly. So, Prabhuji, I'd like to conclude here, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you very much for the wonderful class with so many instructive points, especially to not act whimsically and also to ensure that we follow the words of Guru Sadhu Shastra, the principles of charity, and finally the importance of preaching for oneself, and also as a token of gratitude, and also as a point of following the Guru Parampara's instructions. Devotees can unmute themselves to share any reflections, or if they have any questions, please ask Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu, for that wonderful session. I really appreciate that starting how you try to connect. Initially, wondering why this thing, and you also said you were repeating it, but that really connected the way you gave the introduction. Thank you very much for that. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Dandavat pranams. Thanks for the very wonderful class, Prabhu. Prabhu, what exactly is the difference between Guru and Sadhu, Prabhu?
Yeah, what I understood, I will explain, Mataji. Other devotees also can add. So, there are Guru, means there is Diksha Guru and there is Shiksha Guru. So, Sadhus are Acharyas or Vaishnavas in Parampara. Like now, there can be Diksha Guru, Shiksha Gurus available who help us in our, who give Diksha to us, and then they also give instructions. But when we are practicing day-to-day life, we also see other senior Vaishnavas who are with us, or who are there assembled with us, and we see them and we practice with them. So sadhus are like who are associated devotees around us, and also my understanding is they are acharyas who are like help us to guide in our bhakti. So that's what my understanding. Maybe other devotees also can add. So difference will be like Guru is Diksha Guru or Shiksha Guru. Sadhus means associates of devotees who are sincerely practicing and helping us.
Okay, Prabhu, thank you very much.
If other devotees can add if it is wrong or can correct me. That's what my understanding.
Okay, Prabhuji, I think we can conclude. We can thank you again for your time. We'll conclude with Vaishnava Pranams. Vancha Kalpatra.
Hare Krishna. Dandavat pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Okay, we'll conclude. We'll meet again tomorrow. Hare